I'm Korbinian Kramer. I'm employed at the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy Systems here in Germany. And in my role as a task manager, I'm very glad to introduce you all to Task 73, PVT heating systems. Well, PVT heating systems are providing heat energy, namely for tap water preparation, often also for space heating. Cooling is an option, and of course, electricity. This principle can be scaled in applications from single-family homes, commercial context applications, or even to district heating networks. Classification typically differentiates between systems combining PVT as the only heat source with a brine heat pump. Then another version would be systems combining PVT and another heat source with a heat pump, for example, a borehole system. And then there is PVT direct systems, which come with an auxiliary heater like gas, biomass, or electricity. Because the market, PVT market, is still young, maybe you could say it's adolescent. So there is still guidance needed to learn what works well, what maybe is not proving to be promising. This is true in regards to technical questions, installations, things like that, as well as in regards to communication and expectations. So it helps to have a professional supervision, work together on those topics to avoid disappointments in the market and reduce double expenses, and lastly, speed up the market uptake. And also innovation intrinsically meets hurdles when diffusing into a market. So to identify those, name them, tackle them is often a bigger job than one startup can handle. So I would say here, teamwork makes the dream work. The pre-run of a task is typically several years. The topic of PVT is hot, and therefore, after the end of the previous IEA Task 60 on PVT applications in 2021, it seemed quite obvious to me that I try to bring the market participants together again to continue and excel our efforts to foster the PVT market. Essential is the financing of the work behind the task with national projects, and also some structural costs have to be covered too. In our case, Germany provides those funds. All was in place after the task definition phase in December 24. So the task could start officially with January 25, was kicked off in Berlin in February 2025, and it will end on the 31st of December 2028 with a close-up session in Brussels. By the way, we keep all the meetings completely in plenary, as we think that the outcome needs to cope with the complexity of the different perspectives to create sound, consistent, and meaningful deliverables. Yeah, we just are back from our second meeting in Zaragoza, Spain, and we saw 15 cases presented there with a broad variety of applications and technological variations. And there's way more. The goal cannot be anymore to show them all. It's more to shed light on the different application to illustrate what is possible with PVT and has been already done. So to take away some early adopters' fears, because I think de-risking is essential for a quick market diffusion. And so we will provide information and facts to help with that. It is recognizable that solar air heating PVT is in an earlier market stage than liquid heating systems, especially since one of or the biggest mature player went out of the market some years ago. So I would say right now we are seeing new prototypes on the horizon, and the idea to implement PVT air-based system in HVAC systems, which often are in commercial context air-based, is continuing to be tempting. It's important, I think, to have this concept in mind of knowledge horizons of different stakeholders to understand where people stand and what they already know about PVT heating systems. So we try to prepare infographics, publications, video snippets, other deliverables in the way that they're tailor-made information for different knowledge horizons, so that we are not overburden anybody with our information, but give a hand to understand PVT systems. Yeah, that's an essential part to be able to be in the position to upfront name your energy prices for heat and electricity in our case, or years for return of invest, or other market relevant KPIs, to even just be able to open the door for negotiation to realize a project, needs clarity, transparency, and for that you need the right toolbox. So there is several steps in calculating a project, and the calculation models to characterize the different levels need to be ready for the components, the products, the system, in regards to energetical, but also economical information. And so this process is most efficient and effective if it is well organized. The handover between the different steps of the information is a crucial topic, and the task will work on that. We have a very nice mix of participants for our goals. So we have right now 20 institutions and universities represented. We have 28 manufacturers, planners, consultancies represented, the European Industry Association for Solar Thermal, but also on national level we have industry associations for heat pumps and heating systems and solar systems represented, and we have some heat pump manufacturers. Yeah, it's a nice mix again. We have colleagues from Germany, France, the Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Italy, Czech Republic, Austria, Norway, Belgium, United Kingdom, Spain, Canada, and Australia. In the first two meetings, we had 73 participants in the Berlin kickoff meeting, around 50 now in Zaragoza. So I would say like 50 people are maybe continuously cooperating on that. It was very nice. The group is very open, information are shared, and the market situation is very positive. We have growth rates double digits, which is generating enthusiastic discussions, and also, of course, some challenges for companies to scale up. Yeah, Zaragoza was a very successful meeting. The next things are, of course, continuing the meetings. In between the meetings, there's a lot of work happening too, but the meetings are an essential part of the task work. And we had this idea to use them also to implement industry workshops. So the first day of our meetings is an industry workshop. The second day is the subtask meeting in plenary. And those industry workshops actually are arranged around the most pressing topics around PVT market developments. We started in Berlin, for example, about the competitive advantage and what can make PVT look sexy and to whom. And we looked into that from a professional perspective. And in Zaragoza, we did similar with a workshop about supply chain management for PVT production and production questions. It was, for example, a very nice output to see that it's an EU-based technology for now. The biggest markets are in the EU, the most producers are located in the EU, and the materials, the supply chains are dominantly in the EU. So those things are interesting and they come out from these workshops, and we will obviously also try to spread the news for those who want to know. It's an international group. Some I know since many years, some are new to me, and it is so nice to see the enthusiasm, to see the positive and constructive work together. It is different than in a classic project constellation, and that makes it more free, more interesting, sometimes more challenging to come to consensus, but I really appreciate that work and the diversity in there, and It is fun. Be part of it. If you're interested in PVT heating systems, check in on the homepage, see the next meeting. It's hybrid meetings, so it's low hurdle to take part. You can just online take part if you have some travel expenses. Of course, it's appreciated if you show up in person and be part of the solution.